Welcome to Season 4 of My Wife the Dietitian, a fun, evidence-based weekly podcast about nutrition and healthy living. On today's show, we're talking about magnesium. According to research, 48% of Americans don't get enough of it. Tune in to find out what it does and if it's something that you need. Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian. Hello, Sandra.
Hi, Rob.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. We have 2 questions about magnesium. So 2 separate questions from 2 separate listeners.
Awesome.
And I thought we'd just combine them in one episode.
One big question.
Yeah, because I think we did mention recently about, we'll talk about magnesium, like different forms of magnesium in a different episode.
Probably. Yeah. There's always more things to talk about.
There are some episodes we'll link in the show notes that we have talked a little bit about magnesium in food.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to refer back to that, but also bring it up again today. So one of the questions is, does magnesium help with sleep? And the other question is it safe to take magnesium supplements daily?
Good questions.
Really good.
Yeah. It's one of those things that's, you hear a little bit about it, but not enough to know if, like you said, is it safe and does it help and which type of magnesium should I take and should I just get it in my food or should I take a supplement? Like there's a lot of confusion. So it's good to, even though we might have discussed this previously, it's still good to kind of have a refresher and maybe things will sink in this time that didn't last time.
Yeah, and the funny thing is...
For me, too, because I learn every time we do an episode.
The interesting thing about magnesium is it's widespread in our food. So technically, if you're eating a kind of whole, minimally processed, balanced diet, you're probably getting what you need. But if you're eating a lot of ultra-processed foods and fast foods, you're eating out a lot, if you're eating a lot of refined grain products, that's an indicator that you might be low on magnesium.
Really?
Yeah. So when they refine... Because
you're not getting it, or because do you have natural sort of magnesium levels in your body that can be lowered by certain things that you eat?
No, it's more about just our body's processes. There's over 300 reactions in the body that magnesium is used. And as we live, our day-to-day life, our modern living, the stress of life actually burns through the magnesium. So we use a lot of magnesium in our living, especially if you're an athlete or if you're working out every day. If you're not getting good sleep, there's all these things that we know that magnesium can actually help support your body. And we know that from a study from 2015, 48% of Americans aren't getting enough magnesium.
So our body doesn't produce it, right? All the magnesium that's in our body that we're using comes through our food or supplements, I guess?
Yeah, it's a mineral.
Okay.
Magnesium, just like calcium or zinc, selenium. Those are all different minerals that our body uses.
Okay.
And it's used for supporting normal bone structure and muscle function. It helps with energy creation and protein formation. And it helps with nerve function. That's why if you have an electrolyte imbalance and low magnesium, you could get cramps.
Oh, I was going to say, if you have leg cramps, you got to have something with magnesium.
That's one of the electrolytes that might be off balance.
I see. Okay.
So it can help people that are exercising or working out a lot because they're going through their magnesium. They're using it a lot.
Oh, I see.
It's also helpful for heart function and preventing cardiovascular disease and high blood pressure.
Sounds like something we should all take then.
Well, we do get it in our food.
Right. Oh, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mentioned how it's widespread in our diet, actually, if you're
Right.
eating whole, minimally processed foods. But a lot of times, so there's one thing to think about. If you're wondering where to get magnesium, a lot of the foods have fiber. So if you think,
Like grains, you mean? Like those kind of fiber foods? Or like fruit and vegetables kind of fiber
all
foods?
of the above.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we know that 95% of North Americans are not getting enough fiber. We talk about that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually makes sense that maybe people are short on magnesium too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you think of bran cereal, for instance, has lots of magnesium.
Okay.
Brown rice compared to white rice has way more magnesium. We know there's lots of magnesium in seeds, in nuts, in leafy greens. So magnesium is part of the chlorophyll chemical. And so you think of green leafy vegetables, has chlorophyll, and it's got magnesium.
Okay. I think I probably get lots in my diet.
Yeah, you probably do. Also legumes, like beans.
Oh, okay.
Really high in magnesium.
Yeah.
And chocolate.
Yeah, I eat all those things.
Yeah, and actually even water. So a lot of, if you have hard water, like more minerals in your water, it could be a source of magnesium.
Well, there you go.
So people at risk for magnesium deficiency would be people that have GI malabsorption. So GI issues or chronic diarrhea or malabsorption, like Crohn's or celiac disease. They don't tolerate gluten.
Right.
And might have loose stool and malabsorption. So that would put them at risk for losing their magnesium.
And is there anyone who shouldn't, who's, I don't want to say take because then it makes it sound like a supplement, but that should watch their magnesium intake?
Oh, like getting too much?
Or just, are there any like issues with, I guess getting
We'll
it
get
at all?
to that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Usually the limiting factor, if you're taking too much, like in a supplemental form, you'll start having diarrhea because it is a laxative.
I see. Okay. Because with whatever, I mean, it sounds like, oh, this is awesome. Well, it's a no-brainer. We should all just get lots of magnesium, but I'm sure there's a flip side to it. That's kind of where my question was coming from.
Yeah, it only helps if you have low magnesium. So you don't want to necessarily take tons, but it could be supportive and helpful for sleep. So that was one of the listener questions. Does it help with sleep? And is it safe to take magnesium supplements daily? And pretty much depending on the dose, because the limiting factor is diarrhea. So if you're having loose stools or diarrhea after taking magnesium, you probably are taking too much.
I see. So it's kind of obvious.
It might be obvious, but
that's what you need to pay attention to because that's kind of the sign, right?
Yeah. And there's so magnesium has different bioavailability because some magnesium is less absorbable. So there's a whole bunch of different forms of magnesium. For instance, magnesium sulfate is Epsom salt.
Okay.
So that's something we soak in and we get it through our skin. But the most common forms of magnesium that people use as supplements are magnesium citrate or magnesium glycinate.
Okay. And bisglycinate, is that the same thing?
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know that because?
Because I take that before bedtime to help me.
To help you sleep.
To help me saw logs, yeah.
You know why? It's very gentle, it's well absorbed, and it calms the nervous system. And it also helps relax the muscles. And it helps with bowel movement in the morning. So it has a lot of... Yeah. So that's one I'm noticing a lot of people and clients that I work with are already taking that, usually about 200 milligrams.
Right. I see a lot of people talking about on social media too, where they're saying, "Oh, I can't sleep. What should I do?" And a lot of people seem to know about magnesium, and it's kind of one of those things that, that recommend.
Just recently, it's become more like a supplement of, I think after that study in 2015, where it was deemed a nutrient of concern because 48% of Americans are not getting enough magnesium in their diet. It's kind of got in the spotlight, and we realize like how integral it is in so many different biochemical reactions in the body, right? So it supports our bone structure, I mentioned, and muscle function, and regulates our blood pressure and blood sugars. It promotes energy production and nerve function. So it's a really important mineral. It also helps with heart function. I mentioned that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it could be supportive for people with depression and anxiety, help with blood sugar control, bone health. That's a big one. And migraines.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. There was a client recently that I spoke with who gets 2 migraines a week at least forever, like a long time in her life. And it's probably hereditary because this is happening in her parents too.
Wow.
But magnesium, there is some evidence to suggest that 200 to 300 milligrams a day of magnesium citrate could be helpful. Now, you should do this under a doctor's or a medical health professional's direction, of course, but this person also had chronic constipation, so this could be win-win.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. Is it just me, or does it seem that migraines are more common in women? And is that related to magnesium?
Ooh, interesting question. I think there's a hormone relationship for my migraines, and women's hormones do fluctuate a lot over the cycle, and that could possibly be related.
Okay. Yeah, it just made me think of that because I've never had migraines, fortunately, but it seems that they, at least in what I've noticed, they're more common with women. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. So just looking at the supplements again, because part of the listener question that we're addressing, is it safe to take magnesium supplements daily? And it depends on what type and how much and what are you eating, right? Like if you're eating enough magnesium, you might not really need a supplement. It was interesting. There was a prenatal multivitamin, and I looked at the type of magnesium in that, and it was magnesium oxide, which is surprising to me because that actually has, it's less absorbable than the magnesium citrate and magnesium bisglycinate. So
it's the Epsom salt, right?
No, it's not Epsom. That's magnesium sulfate.
Oh, okay.
But magnesium oxide, and what magnesium oxide does is the side effect is it hurries things along in the gut. So the side effect is loose stool, diarrhea, abdominal cramping.
Huh. And what did you see it in? Sorry?
In a prenatal supplement.
Oh.
Like a generic one.
Huh.
So that was interesting to see. And so, I mean, that's a whole different can of worms in terms of discussion. And maybe we could, get back, Dean Elby asked the pharmacist with regard to different supplements and standards, like what's in supplements. But yeah, that was an interesting discovery that I noticed.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the most common, as I mentioned, supplements are the magnesium citrate or the magnesium glycinate.
Right.
The magnesium chloride is another one that some people use for heartburn, for constipation, for low magnesium levels. Magnesium oxide, as I mentioned, is more like a laxative.
Okay. Like it has more of a laxative effect because they all seem to help with bowel movements by the sounds of it.
Well, the organic form versus inorganic. So the ones that are inorganic are the carbonate, the magnesium chloride, the magnesium gluconate, the magnesium oxide, like the one I just mentioned in the prenatal. Those ones because they're less absorbable. So your body's not really absorbing much. So then it ends up, as I mentioned, causing loose stool or diarrhea or abdominal cramps.
Mm-hmm.
And the other ones, so there's one that's starting to emerge on the marketplace and hearing more about is magnesium L-threonate. And that can be neuroprotective, so for the brain. And magnesium malate's another one to ease muscle cramps that athletes are using. And then, as I mentioned, the most common are the magnesium citrate and the magnesium glycinate.
Wow. I didn't realize there's so many.
I know, there's
That's
so
confusing.
many. It's very confusing. And there's also like powder forms like Calm. I think there's one that's called Calm where it's a powder magnesium that you put into
I've seen that.
a drink. It's probably for kids that maybe don't like pills.
Oh, okay.
That would be a way, if there's an issue with magnesium.
So there's all those different kinds of magnesium. What's in our food then? Is it just magnesium or is it a specific form of magnesium or does it depend on the food? Or do you don't know that?
That's
maybe
a big
that's
question.
a Dean question.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think it's elemental magnesium. So it's the actual, just like in food, like there's calcium. So there's elemental calcium. And so when you're looking at how much calcium am I getting or how much magnesium am I getting, you're looking at the elemental, like the actual amount.
Okay.
So I hope that kind of helps address the, does magnesium help with sleep? It can certainly help, especially if you're using a gentle one like glycinate, bisglycinate, or magnesium citrate. If you also need some support with constipation, like if you're prone to constipation, that can be helpful for that. Whereas the glycinate is more gentle and it won't have the GI side effects.
And is the glycinate more like a sleepy pill as well? Like you don't take that during the day because it'll make you tired?
Some people I talk to take one in the morning and one at night. It relaxes you. So if you are having issues with sleep, then I would say take it kind of not right before sleep, but a few hours before you want to start to head to bed.
Oh, I see. Okay. Like after dinner, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
A dessert pill. Can we just quickly talk about maybe some of the foods that, everyone's been listening going, oh, this is great, this magnesium stuff. I got to get some more, but we haven't talked about how to get it in food.
Well, we did actually. Remember we talked about brown rice versus white rice the bran versus the refined white grain cereal.
Oh, okay.
Whole grains, legumes.
Does it help with memory at all?
Yeah, maybe you need a bit more.
Clearly, I forgot that part. No, so leafy greens, all the fiber kind of foods you said is magnesium, right?
Mm-hmm. Spinach is really high.
Nuts and seeds. Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's moderate to low amount in meat and dairy.
Okay.
And people, I think we talked a little bit about the people at risk for magnesium deficiency, people with malabsorption and diarrhea. Also, type 2 diabetes might have a lower intake of magnesium, and older adults also, because they might not have enough. Maybe they're just eating less. They don't have as big of an appetite, so they're not eating as much food, so they're not getting as much magnesium. And then also the absorption from the gut decreases as people age. And also your kidneys start to excrete magnesium as you age. So it gets rid of magnesium more.
Right.
And also if there's chronic diseases, so you've got multiple chronic diseases that you're dealing with, that can affect how your body is using magnesium and how it's going through it quickly. And also if you're on medication. So a lot of older people are taking multiple pills and medications every day, and that can certainly alter the magnesium status. So these are actually topics that we can definitely talk to our friend, the pharmacist, Dean LB, about in the future, because it's very common that, a lot of people do have lots of different medications that they're taking for lots of different chronic conditions. Like I know that if you have osteoporosis and you're taking a bisphosphonate, that might affect your magnesium status, or antibiotics could, or PPI. We've talked about that before, the proton pump inhibitor that reduces your stomach acid, that could interact with magnesium. So, and a diuretic. So it actually gets rid of fluid out of your body. So then you could be losing magnesium too. So there's lots of interactions and things to consider. And magnesium is such an important mineral for so many reactions in our body that it's important to get enough. And maybe you might need to take a small dose supplement to help your nutritional status for magnesium.
Yeah, sounds like it'd be a good episode for Dean to tag along on. It's there's a lot to know, it seems, with this. Well, any of the kind of chemical kind of minerals, I guess, or vitamins, they're just they can be confusing for people. And like you said, all the interactions and things to watch out for. But
yeah, and we, as a dietitian, food first. Like if you can cover your needs with your intake, what you're eating over the week, that's awesome. That would be preferred. But for a lot of people, they might need the extra support for a small amount of magnesium.
Exactly.
Good. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That's great information again. And if you need more information about anything, check out our website. If you have questions about the episode, need some clarification, things that we can ask Dean when we have him on the show, let us know. You can email us your questions at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And the address for the website is mywifethedietitian.com. We also have a great newsletter that comes out once a week. It's free to join that as well. You can find a link for that on the website as well. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Feel free to reach out to us there. We love hearing your comments. We love your questions. We love any feedback you're able to give us. It's super helpful for keeping the show moving forward and keeping it moving forward in the right direction and giving everyone what they want as far as information. So yeah, fire those questions away. Let us know what you're thinking. Another way to help us is to rate and review the show. There's usually a way to do that on whatever podcast player you're using. So be sure to do that. And don't forget to subscribe. That's super important. And share with your friends too. It's another thing that helps us. I'm sure your friend would enjoy hearing a great new show as well. So that is it. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back on Wednesday with Nutrition Nuggets. So until then, have a fantastic week. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife, the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.